Hey, what's up, family? I am back for another episode of the Melanin Wellness Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in with me week after week to get the best, most valuable information that there is about wellness for my people of color. Now, today we are going to be talking about how to practice yoga even when you have a super small space. So now, guys, my space is that I live in, my townhome is it's big enough for my family. However, it is too small to accommodate a full yoga space. So I have to often get very, very creative so that I can have my virtual studio, which happens to be in a space somewhere within my townhouse. And it can get a bit frustrating, but you can still have a thriving practice, even in a small space, as long as you know how to get a little creative with it. So, let's get into that topic. But before we do, I want to just get into a little bit of affirmations. I love to get into affirmations and gratitude because it really just helps to set the tone for what we're going to talk about. It sets the tone for our days and they just make you feel good. They put you in a better mindset. All right. So, my first one is that I live in limitless love, light, and joy. As I forgive myself, it becomes easier to forgive others. Wellness is my divine right. I am an infinite well of happiness, joy, and peace. I come from the healing space of my heart, and love opens all the doors. I am loved and I am at peace. I'm so grateful today for those affirmations and as well for that healing, those healing affirmations that are really helping me to continue my healing journey, both physically and emotionally. Now, there may have been more than our 30 seconds of gratitude. That's okay if it was, because you can never be more grateful. You can never be grateful enough because there are so many things that are taking place, and showing gratitude helps to place you in such a good space that it helps you to become more abundant and to prosper. So take as much time as you need. All right, now let's get into this episode. All right, so have you ever found yourself struggling to find the space to practice yoga in your tiny apartment or tiny house? You're not alone. Many urban dwellers face this challenge in their daily lives, right? I just told you I have that challenge in my home currently. But fear not. With a little creativity and resourcefulness, you can achieve your yoga goals no matter how big or small your living space may be. In this episode, I've compiled some tips to help you make the most of your small space and practice yoga effectively, reaping all the benefits. Now, from investing in versatile equipment to creating a calming, serene atmosphere, I've got you covered. So let's get started and discover how to practice yoga in even the tiniest of spaces. So number one, you want to look for unused spaces. Now, let's be clear. We all have unused spaces. We have, I'm serious, it's not big enough for me to practice yoga in. And I used to record my podcast in my closet. I have this walk-in closet, and it is first of all, the acoustics in there are absolutely amazing. But it became unsustainable after a certain amount of time because I couldn't get comfortable enough. And when I would record my episodes, you could literally hear me moving and shuffling around trying to get comfortable. And I decided, hey, this ain't working. So let's stop that. So, but find those, even the smallest spaces, right, can be used to help you, invest in equipment like yoga mats, yoga blocks, yoga straps, resistance bands, even yoga bolsters. And I created a post on how to make your own yoga bolster for next to nothing. It's actually on my Instagram. I'm going to put a link to that below, a little short tutorial. I swear, I think I did it in about 4 minutes, maybe. But don't stop there. Look for unused spaces in your apartments or your small house that can be transformed into your own personal yoga studio. A small corner in your bedroom or a living room, even a balcony or a patio. I've used my balcony several times, especially when the weather is nice here. We live on the East Coast, so we have somewhat of 4 seasons. Not always. Sometimes it goes from 90 to 100 degrees to all of a sudden it's 30. But during the months that are typically designated for spring and summer, I often use my balcony, and it is so serene. It has beautiful plants and trees that grow up out of the back of it, and it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous during those months. And so those can be used as ideas and great spaces for your practice. But just make sure you have enough room to stretch and move freely. You don't want to be kicking over things and potentially injuring your foot or hitting things with your arm. And like, that is not good, right? That disturbs your namaste. Use furniture or walls for support and stability during poses. That's perfectly okay. Listen, I use props in my practice, and props are so helpful. Props are so helpful, and anything just about can be used as a prop when needed. A windowsill can also be a perfect spot for meditation and relaxation. I have a bay window, and so oftentimes I'll go there and I'll sit there, for meditation to relax. And also I go into that walk-in closet. It's that space. When I go enter that space, it's something about it. It's different than my bedroom. It's just so calm, and I don't know. I don't know if it's all the clothes hanging. I don't know what it is, but I've fallen asleep in there before, as have my kids. So it's something about that space that is just wonderful, and it promotes relaxation when you are in practice. So finding a space like that for meditation and relaxation is key. That serene practice. Get creative, make the most of your small space, and remember that practicing yoga is all about finding inner peace and balance. And that can be achieved, anywhere, even in the tiniest of spaces. Tip number 2, invest in versatile equipment. Now, I touched on this a few minutes ago. Invest in versatile equipment like yoga mats, yoga blocks, straps, pillows, bolsters, rolled up towels, rolled up blankets, resistance bands, all of those things, and yoga socks. I almost left those out. Like, yoga socks are amazing. I wear them because sometimes you can start to sweat during your practice and not realize how much you're sweating, and the bottoms of your feet and hands will become a little moist and you'll begin to slide, right? I've done that a million times, and sometimes I've wound up in a full-on split. And listen, if you don't have that flexibility, or even if you do, that's kind of a jarring experience. And again, that's going to disrupt your peaceful and serene moment that you're trying to create. All right. And making use of walls is tip number 3. Making use of walls can be a great way to optimize your small space for a yoga practice. Using walls can provide extra support to help you deepen your stretches and your poses, getting those maximum benefits. And that is so key. Like, oh my goodness, sometimes I tend to get a lot of tension and pain in my shoulder blades, especially behind my right shoulder blade. So getting in deeper into the stretches to help loosen that space up and breathe in to that area that has that pain is like, it's essential. It's everything. It feels amazing. So supported shoulder stands or legs up the wall pose is one or a couple of poses that you can use for the wall, on the walls. You can also use the wall to deepen your stretches in basic poses such as down dog or warrior 2. And additionally, using walls can create the illusion of more space in your apartment by positioning yourself and your equipment in front of a clear wall. You can open up the area and it makes it feel a little more spacious. So again, with the little creativity, even the smallest of spaces can become peaceful oasis for your yoga practice. Now let's get creative with storage. So, in a tiny space, finding space to store your equipment can be a huge challenge. It has been for me. I know that when it's time for me to put my equipment away, oftentimes I want to just leave my space set up the way that it is because I have made it so peaceful and I've made it mine. However, it's a part of my family's day-to-day area, and so it's impossible for me to just leave it that way. So one idea is you can use a storage ottoman as a yoga equipment holder, which is an amazing idea. I actually made a storage ottoman out of something that I found from a thrift store and a little crocheting, and boom, I had a storage ottoman. Listen, y'all, crafting is one of my self-care / stress relieving activities. So I'm pretty handy when it comes to that kind of stuff. But anyway, it provides hidden storage for your yoga mats, blocks, straps, bolsters, but it can also serve as extra seating in your living space when you have guests, which is always essential. When you have a smaller space, you tend to have less area and less real estate to work with when it comes to placing couches and chairs and things like that. And so that will give you an extra space for your guests to be seated when they come over. And a second option is using a floating shelf to store your yoga books, your candles, and your incense. I have several floating shelves. In fact, I even made some, here I go again, out of some little foam board. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to create a quick reel on how to do that, because that's everything, right? So I created little floating shelves, and I use those for my incense, for my candles, for little tiny plants that I want to put on there. Now, obviously, it can't be something too heavy on the floating shelves that I made. However, Dollar Tree does have floating shelves that you can get that are $5, and they are pretty decent quality. Just a little hint. So this not only frees up floor space, but it also adds a calming touch to your yoga corner, wherever that may be. And also using a storage bench or a trunk as storage space can also add to the atmosphere of your yoga space. You can create and put those things, and it does create serene, and it can be a part of your yoga space. You don't have to move it, but it creates a little bit of decor for you in your living space, right? These furniture pieces also double as seating or coffee tables while also storing your equipment. So as you can see, again, with a little bit of creativity, you can turn the smallest storage items into useful and aesthetically pleasing additions to your living space. Also, there is one more that I wanted to add, is those yoga cubes. They're not yoga cubes, but they're these cubes, and they're relatively inexpensive, and they look really nice. And normally you would take little baskets and slide them in there. You can actually use those as well. I buy those from my local Big Lots. Target has them, Walmart has them, and you can buy them, and you buy these beautiful canvas baskets, and you can use those to store your yoga things and slide it in there. And that does also add to your space because it's there and it looks almost like a bookshelf. And on the very top, you could get some matching bookends and store your yoga books there. Again, those are just ideas. Those are things that I have used trying to create my own space. And the last tip would be to create a calming atmosphere. So to truly make any space, whether it's big or small, your own, creating a calming atmosphere is paramount. So you want to start with your lighting. Some soft ambient lighting can work wonders in making your space feel relaxing and calming. I use lamps that have a dimming feature that gives me the ability to have like I think it's 3 different settings, and so I can keep the lights low. Then if I need more light, I can switch it again, get more, and then maximum light. And there are also light bulbs, specific kinds of light bulbs that offer different lighting. So if you want a softer ambient setting, you would want to go for a bulb that's more yellow when it is turned on, as opposed to a bright white light bulb in your lamps. I just then you want to think about the scent of your space. I'm a humongous candle person. In fact, I have a candle burning behind me right now. I light my calming candles before I do every single podcast episode because it helps to set the mood for my podcast, and it helps to relax me and calm me because I'm often quite nervous when I get ready to do these episodes. So setting that tone and relaxing and creating a calming atmosphere when I'm ready to record my episodes is key as well. So back to what I was talking about when it comes to setting the scent. Essential oils, candles, add a soothing aroma to your space. Incense, another thing. They can be used to help you to deepen your relaxation during your practice. There are certain essential oils that really help you to deepen your practice, really help to foster more relaxation and more calmness and inner peace. Lavender is one. Patchouli oil is another. Rosemary is another. And you can take these various essential oils and you can mix them, make a mixture, a calming mixture per se, if you would like, for yourself, for when you go to practice, to setting that tone. Eucalyptus and peppermint are also 2 more essential oils that do foster calmness and help you deepen your practice. And finally, consider the overall aesthetic of your place. Do you want white curtains? Do you want no curtains? Do you want blinds? Do you want what colors? What colors are calming for you? And you want to choose those colors which are calming for your walls and for your decor, such as pastels. Oh my gosh. Pastels or neutral tones. Um, it depends on each person. I know I like yellow and I like green. Both of those are my brand colors because they foster a sense of well-being and peace for me. And so most of a lot of my mats, a lot of my clothes are yellow or green. Now, again, for you, it may be pink, it may be purple, whatever colors really just resonate with you and help you to get that sense of peace. Those are the ones that you want to use. Incorporating nature-inspired elements such as plants, and I think I said that, natural textiles can also add to the calming vibe of your space. And so by optimizing your small space and creating a relaxing atmosphere, you can achieve a fulfilling yoga practice right in the comfort of your own home, even if it is a small space. And so lastly, practicing yoga in a small space, it might be a challenge, but it's not impossible. By thinking outside the box and utilizing unused spaces, versatile equipment, walls, storage, and creating your own calming oasis, you can achieve your yoga goals without needing a large area. Remember, even the tiniest of spaces can lead to big results when it comes to yoga. That goes back to when I was discussing mini yoga. You don't have to be in practice for long periods of time to get those benefits. So it's the same thing with a space. Small space still can get those big benefits. So don't let your limited space hold you back and embrace the challenge of making it your oasis. As the famous quote by BKS Iyengar goes, yoga is a light which, once lit, will never dim. The better your practice, the brighter your flame. Thank you all so much for listening to this episode of the Melanin Wellness Podcast. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And if you'd like to help support the podcast, please share it with others. Post about it on social media and leave me a 5-star rating and review it on whatever platform that you get your podcasts. To catch all the latest from me, you can follow the show on Instagram at the Melanin Wellness Podcast or on my personal profile at Corina Dunn _. That's CORINNADUNN _. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next episode. Namaste.